Welcome, Kalika.
Namaste. Welcome.
The thing is, Kalika has been name has going around our discussions for the last couple of years, thanks to our friend Anand Joglekar, who's in Dallas. And one thing I want to add before she starts the discussion this morning is that Kalika specializes in Hindi philosophy with a focus on Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, yoga, and shared darshanas. She may look very young, but she has 25 years of experience in psychological counseling, yoga, and teaching, and she blends her scholarly rigor with practical insight, which is very important these days. She conducts innovative courses such as Hindu Dharmic parenting and growing up with Gita, and aims to make ancient wisdom relevant to modern life. She's conducted numerous international conferences. In addition, runs her YouTube channel, Dr. Kalika, and she's very passionate about sharing the timeless relevance of Hindu philosophy in today's world. With that background, today's topic for her is Vidya and Avidya, as detailed in Ishavasya Upanishad, its contemporary significance. Welcome, Kanika. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. First of all, thanks to Dr. Sane and thanks to everybody here for giving me this honor to speak amongst all this, what I would say, renowned souls and souls full with knowledge and experience. So I consider it very humbly as it's my honor. And today I'm here to just share my perspective and thoughts on this topic. This is really great because I have been meeting a couple of you, and I have met Dr. Palka for in the course actually at HUA, and a very special bond has been developed. It's connected by knowledge. It's connected through knowledge and love, of course. Same with Dr. Sane also. In a very short meeting, kind of we connected, and he proposed that I speak in one of your sessions. So it is really a great, it means a lot to me. So purposely I took this topic because Vidya and Avidya, I feel is a concept which is underrated when it comes to the modern civilization that we are living, and the contribution of Indian philosophy, of Hindu philosophy, to be specific, of the Upanishads and Ved to the world is this understanding of Vidya and Avidya. We all agree and we feel that knowledge is to be pursued, and we have to get knowledge about reality, why we are in this world, and what is our significance, what is our relation with the world. And for thousands of years, scholars and rishis, everybody has been into this quest for knowledge and to an attempt to understand who I am and where from I come. Now, this has given rise to development of science, as we say today, and science has its own methodology and a long history. Similarly, as we know, there was this Sanatan civilization which existed on the other side of the globe, and where it says that Sanatan means it is never created, nor it can be destroyed. It is always there, that which is eternal. When we say that why this civilization has to be eternal, what does it mean? There are a couple of answers. Traditionally, it says that Ved and Upanishad are apaurushaya, that is, it is not written by or created by any human element, but it exists. Another interpretation is also very appropriate, which says that Ved comes from the Sanskrit word vida. Vida is to know. To know what? That it talks about knowledge, it talks about jnana. It says that I need to know myself and the world where I am in. So the whole process of knowing itself is Ved. Ved comes into four sections as Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. So these are the four different stages of understanding, different stages of knowing. And of course, Upanishads, as it is also called as Vedanta, comes at the end part of it. That is, it is about Atma Vidya, as you all very well know. It is about exploring into one's own self, trying to discover who I am. It is, in short, an inward journey. Rest, which starts with Samhita, Brahman, and Aranyaka, has different parts of Atma Vidya, but more or less it is focused on the uh, it focuses on the Prakruti, it focuses on the Pravrutti. And when it comes to Upanishads, it is more about self, it is more about Atman, and therefore it is also called as Atma Vidya. Now, amongst the major Upanishads on which Shankaracharya has written his commentary, Ramanujacharya has written, and many other acharyas and scholars have discussed about it, as it is called as Prasthanatrayi. So, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra, if they are understood and if an acharya writes a commentary on it, only then he was considered to be an acharya. So, that was the prerequisite of anybody who has to come to the state of teacherhood or guru pada or gurutva. Accordingly, Shankaracharya has also written his commentary. He has his humongous literature that is available at a very early age. Um, he has just thrown out his knowledge in abundance, and as he has also commented on Ishavasya Upanishad, it is the first Upanishad to say Ishakena Katha Prashna Munda Mandukya Aitareya Chandokya Bruhadaranyaka. These are the 10 Upanishads, and Shvetashvetar is the 11th Upanishads. So I was blessed with the opportunity to study all these 11 Upanishads as my PhD study, and I came up with the title as Philosophy of Life with reference to Major 11 Upanishads. While I was studying, I thought that often it came to my mind which are the Upanishads which are very close to me. So often Kathopanishad would come in the first place because Nachiketa always attracted me more. Being an 8-year-old boy, and he goes and asks the Ishwar of death, Mrityu, as to tell me what happens after death. How many souls in this world are really curious to know what happens after death? Initially, most of the people are afraid for many decades to even talk about death. Parents are afraid to introduce their children about this concept of death. But this is an yogi child who is very curious and is ready to sacrifice everything and understand. So, Kathopanishad was something which was always very much close to my heart. And the next is the Ishavasya Upanishad, because Ishavasya Upanishad is direct, precise, and exact. Along with Mandukya Upanishad, even Mandukya Upanishad is similarly very precise and accurate. Ishavasya Upanishad also contains all the gist of Upanishads. And therefore, I thought this concept of Vidya and Avidya should be studied from the context of Ishavasya Upanishad. So let us start with the Shanti mantra that comes in. Let us start with Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Evavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the Shanti mantra itself is a capsule of what Ishavasya Upanishad is going to conclude, what Ishavasya Upanishad is going to say. But in this journey, what happens is we come across certain shlok uh, from 9 to 14, shlok number 9 to 14. And they really are challenging in the sense different acharyas have given different kinds of interpretations. Modern scholars have also looked at it from various perspectives, and therefore it is always a challenging task for a student like me to relate it to the whole philosophy of Brahma Vidya or Atma Vidya. So apparently, it may appear that contradictory things are being said, but then the fun lies in understanding what is it that exactly they want to say. Apparently, it may look contradictory, but it is not so. And therefore, I thought of taking this concept. So, initially, Adi Shankaracharya has given his commentary on this, and where he says he relates avidya as a ritual or a karma, all those actions in the world, and vidya as upasana, vidya as a meditation or devotion to the divine. Of course, in the Vedic period, and the religion was not followed as we are following it. We follow in terms of worship, temples. This is a later development. When it goes to Vedic period, it was mainly concerned with the home, havan, yajna, and upasana. Upasana was different types of meditations. So here Shankaracharya tries to interpret it into Vidya as these different kinds of upasana, and avidya as the karma, as the yajna, homa, and our day-to-day actions that we perform. So that kind of an interpretation is given by Shankaracharya. So often people ask that if he is the one who is saying Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, then why does he have to give this kind of an interpretation of Vidya, where he is talking about upasana and different kinds of meditation? Because further, as we will take one shlok after the other, we will see how it really does it resonate with what we say. But there are other traditional interpretations also which say that avidya is ignorance. uh, it is not mere lack of facts, but fundamental misconception or misperception of reality, which leads to illusion and attachment to this world. It represents principle of multiplicity, where we see the world as fragmented, separate, bound by ego and sensory experiences. Whereas Vidya is wisdom. It is a spiritual insight that reveals the unity of all existence, or as we say, Brahman, or the ultimate reality. So these are two popular ways of interpreting the concept of Vidya and Avidya. Um, Basically, it is not that they are put as an opposite concepts, but they go together. So, not spending much time here, I would directly go into the shlok, and from here the discussion can be like, let me read this. Andantamah pravishanti ye vidya upasate tato bhuya ivate tamoyo vidya rataha. So, Andantama Pravishanti. Those who worship avidya alone fall into the blind darkness. Now, that is fine. Person who is ignorant will automatically be into darkness, and he will be like a blind person. This is understandable. But then they say they who worship Vidya alone also fall into even greater darkness. Now, here the fun begins. Now it's okay that if I'm ignorant, I'm automatically into darkness. But how do you say that when I'm pursuing knowledge, when I'm pursuing Vidya, how am I going into the darker world? There are two different things. Like in Ved, we will see that there are different lokas existing. So in the foremost lok, where the most pious, most intelligent, most spiritual soul will go, is the Brahma Loka. And it says that once you are into that realm of Brahma Loka, you are kind of closer to immortality. You are almost, from the bhakti perspective, they say you are with the God. You are next to God. You are with God. You are almost divine. This almost word is very interesting. When my son was very young, he had to prepare to go to school, I used to ask him, "Did you do this?" He would say, "Almost." So that almost is very tricky. It doesn't exactly give that how much has been achieved and how much is yet to be achieved. So in the Brahma Loka, when somebody is there, does that mean that soul is enlightened? Does that mean the soul has experienced unity with Brahman, or the soul is closer to that? Because it says that after destruction, that is when this universe is going to collapse, then the soul from Brahma Loka will again come back and will continue to live the prarabdha or the karma sanchit that is still there. So he just got a, what you can say, he just got little promotion for some time where he's not indulging into this lokic world or this worldly life. But he's closer, he's happy, and but after this universe is dissolved and the new universe is created, again the duty begins. That again, birth, death, the cycle continues. So, if that is the case, then what is darkness and what is light? So, here Shankaracharya talks often about, or even Upanishad for that matter, they speak about Pravrutti Marga and Nivrutti Marga. So, people who are into Pravrutti Marga is the focus is on this Prakruti, on this world, in this experiences that we gain from this world. So, when I am focused on being happy in this world, when I am focused on avoiding my sorrow or not becoming sad in this world, even then it is a pravrutti marga, because that is outside me, bahya jagat. So, when I am looking for my happiness and my sorrow outside me, it means that everything that I am consuming is from outside. That is called as pravrutti marga. What is nivrutti marga is when the focus is inward. When I decide that I can be happy without anything. I don't need anything. I am complete. The Shanti mantra that we said. Purnamadaha Purnamidam. So I am complete. I don't need anything. I have no desire. I don't feel less because something is not there. I feel complete. That is to being towards Nivrutti Marga. That is an experience that one can achieve if one is following the Nivrutti Marga. Here, when Shankaracharya says that Vidya is Upasana, Upasana has also different levels. And when somebody is very much focused on the Pravrutti Marga, for that person, Vidya could be meditation, it could be doing good deeds. Now, meditation also has different levels. Now, for example, I'll tell you about one kind of meditation which is based on symbols and imagination. Supposing I am a devotee of Shiva or I am a devotee of Vishnu. So, when I meditate, I will bring in front of me the image of Vishnu as I have seen since childhood. Or I will bring in front of me an image of Shiva as I am understanding it. And I will try to focus on that. Believe me, according to Patanjali Yoga Sutra, this is also concentration. And dhyana is concentration, but samadhi does not include concentration. Concentration is still focusing on something, excluding something and focusing on something. This is totally a different method. So, concentration is not actual meditation. That is a step towards meditation where we first exclude all that is unnecessary and we focus on our idol or our Ishta Devata, and then we stay there. We try to stay there. Now, this kind of upasana, uh, and then there are different layers of upasana also. And ultimately, what is the end goal of upasana? Now, which level we call Vidya and from where we call it Avidya? So, one who is thinking that I need to understand myself and I need to realize my truth, from there, the realm of Vidya begins. But now, if somebody says that now that I am interested in knowing myself and the ultimate reality, then I am not going to take care of anything else in this life. So, they will sab chhod chhad ke nikal gaye. So, where will they go after leaving everything? Probably, as usual, they will go to Himalaya and they will sit there. But what will happen after that? One will be hungry after some time. So, what to do now? Kala and Tatvajnana, it has to have Lokashray. Lokashray is support from the people, support from the society. It should also have Rajashraya. Without Lokashraya and Rajashraya, Kala, that is art and philosophy, doesn't survive. Because when the society is in the survival mode, these things appear to be luxury. But when the society is little affluent, sophisticated, then these levels of development are taken care. If you see the Maslow's uh, pyramid, then it says that these things come later. Similarly, according to our tradition also, uh, so this particular person who has left everything and gone and stayed there will have to take support of the society, come down to the village, ask for food, and very happily the society will provide. But then somebody has to be a provider because somebody is into the pursuit of knowledge. So that is a symbiotic relation. This symbiotic relation has to be understood differently in different time. In different societies, it's going to be different. So somebody who is not understanding this reality, this fact, and just thinking that everything is unreal and I'm only going to think about Atman, then that person will not be capable of understanding the intricacies of this world, details of this world, the symbiotic relationship which exists in the world. And without even understanding, how can you really transcend? And therefore, knowledge of both the world is necessary. So, aparipakva sannyas, that is and paripakva sannyas is two different things. Somebody who is um aparipakva is one which is not matured, one which is not fully developed. And paripakva is like a fruit which has now fully grown and now it is ripe. So there is a difference between unripe and a ripe fruit. Similarly, the level of maturity, the level of vairagya is different. So one who practices this kind of vidya without understanding the intricacies of this world will also fall into a darker, what you say, darker world, or will doom itself further. How will it doom? If I ask you the question, one reason is probably the person will grow arrogant. As you say, there is some arrogance that I'm not attached to this world and I'm away from all this and I'm the best because I'm into pursuit of knowledge. So there is some arrogance. Or there can be inaction which can creep in, that I don't need to do anything. I don't need to work. I don't need to pursue my career. I don't need to do anything in this world. So inaction and arrogance can creep in, and that will lead to an ego development. That can develop a swollen ego, which will doom that person because ego is the best hindrance, worst hindrance, I would say, in the path of spirituality. So from that perspective, when Shankaracharya interprets it as different kinds of upasana, it makes sense. And later on, it says that one result is predicated of vidya and another of avidya. Anya devahur vidyaya, anya devahur vidyaya. Iti sushrumadhiranam ye nastat vichachakshire. So the effect of pursuing vidya is different, effect of pursuing avidya is different. So what is the effect of pursuing avidya about this world, about this knowledge? It is different. They are not saying it is not necessary. They are not saying it is waste. They are saying you have a choice. You better know what is the effect of these two things. The effect of pursuing avidya or the knowledge about this world and how to live in this world, what will happen? And the effect of pursuing vidya will give you a different kind of effect. And what is that? Vidyam cha yastat vedobhayam saha avidya mrutyum tirtva vidya amrutam ashnute. So when we study avidya, it helps us to transcend mortality. transcend death. What does that mean? Somebody I'll give a very simple example. Somebody who is not earning anything but is in need of many things. There is a possibility that that person may have a moral death, naitik mrityu, as we say. So somebody who is uh, not able to do his or her career or and do many things and self provide oneself, be self sufficient, will die because there will be no self respect, will not be able to provide oneself, will not be able to help others, and there will be no point in that kind of a life. So this kind of death is possible. Secondly, from the modern context, we see that as the development of science, medical science, and all other sciences, life has changed drastically. Today, I'm sitting in Dallas, you are in Minnesota, and we are looking at each other and talking and speaking. So, isn't this the swarga as it is described sometimes? That all our sensory organs are limited by its limitations. But what science has done is exponentially it has increased the capacity of our sense organs. And this is, in a way, um, conquering death. Death is end. So it puts end to many limitations. So from that perspective, when we follow the worldly sciences, when we follow the knowledge which describes this world, explains this world, helps us to sustain ourselves. Now, coming to the other side, he who simultaneously knows both Vidya and Avidya gets over death by Avidya and attains immortality by Vidya. So, how does one attain immortality? Two meanings are there. One, when I said initially that if you go to Brahmaloka, in a way, you stay there endlessly till the end of the universe. So, that is in a way attaining immortality. But from the other perspective, from the Atma Vidya perspective, if we say, one realizes that there are limitations to the existence, and therefore, transcending these limitations, when I go beyond cause and effect. I go beyond time and space. So anything that is beyond time, space, and causation is never created, never it dies. So it is out of this cycle of creation. Then what remains? Tatvamasi. Only Tat remains. That remains. Other than that, everything else is part of creation. Everything that is created is going to end. It comes with an expiry date. So that which is never created, that which is self-caused, that which exists everywhere at all times and is uncaused, that is Brahman. So once one attains that level of understanding, that level of awareness, that is the experience of Amrutatva or immortality. Now, again, another, this 12th shlok is also very interesting. It says, Andantama pravishanti ye sambhutim upasate. Tato bhuya ivate tamo yau sambhutyam vrataha. Sambhutim is that which is created. Asambhutim is that which is not created. I've taken purposely this translation which traditionally comes. They say that they fall into blind darkness who worship the unborn Prakriti. So Prakriti is not that is expressed. If you study the Sankhya Darshan, it describes Purusha and Prakriti, where Prakriti is explained as the potential of creation. If you see Kashmiri Shaivism, Shakti. If you think about Shankaracharya, the concept of Maya comes in. All this is potential of creation. Before creation, there is a potential of creation. So one who just blindly worships this Prakriti, that is creation, they fall into darkness because then they are tied up with the beginning and the end. It is not bad, it is not futile, it is not something to be rejected. But Upanishads say that it just has to be understood, that it comes with the limitation of creation and destruction. But they fall into greater darkness who are bent upon the Karya Brahma, that is Hiranyagaru. Now, this is a very interesting concept called Hiranyagarbha, but let us think about another way of looking at it. Let us just look at what Upanishads are saying. Okay, this is an interpretation. Hiranyagarbha is also that first expression of Brahman before the world is created. That Hiranyagarbha is described as the most luminous, most powerful, most energetic, like a sun, from where everything has created. So that is a description of Hiranyagarbha as it comes. But potentially, in the new language, we can say that there is a kinetic energy and there is a potential energy. So when the kinetic energy is yet to be expressed, that particular state can be closer to, similar to what Hiranyagarbha is described as. So one who just thinks about that, he falls into a bigger pit or a more darkness. Why this has to be said? Apparently, it appears as a contradiction. Because if somebody is following the path of uh, something that which is not created, then what is that which is not created? So here we have to understand that there are layers of thing that is not created. For example, ignorance. We say that knowledge is sanatan, knowledge is ever. Then how is ignorance? Is it sanatan? Does ignorance have a beginning? We know that ignorance has an end, but does it have a beginning? This is the interesting point which says that it doesn't have a beginning. It is also sanatan. It just exists. Ignorance for me, does it not exist before me? No, it existed. But I was aware when I was created. And not as we are created, we understand that I'm an ignorant being. To understand that I'm an ignorant being, most of the time it takes decades. Until then, human beings think that I am the most knowledgeable person. So, more the person gains knowledge, he starts realizing how ignorant I am. So, this itself is an evolving process. But then, if we see that where does this ignorance come from? When did exactly, ignorance created within me? If I keep asking this question to me, I don't see when it was created, it was there. So there are certain things. Even Shankaracharya, when he describes Maya, he says, Ya ma sa Maya. That which is always there. It is called as anirvachaniya. That which cannot be described, but it is there. So Brahma Ananta, Maya is also Ananta. Shakti is Ananta, Shiva is also Ananta. So this exists. But what does that mean over here? Here it just means that when I am just concentrating on something that is created or on something that is yet to be created, it is closer to ignorance. Here darkness means ignorance. Both the situation, it is going to be ignorance. Then what does it matter? Now this shlok says that now they take the help of old gurus. Now here it is saying अन्य देवाहुर संभवात अन्य दाहुर संभवात इति सुश्रुम धीराणाम ये नस्तत विचचक्षिरे. They say, who they? The gurus, the teachers, even prior to those who are discussing in the Upanishads. So Upanishad is also a period, a time when they are discussing, they are having dialogue. They are giving reference to somebody before them. And what did they say? They say, one thing results from the worship of Hiranyagarbha and another from the worship of Prakriti. We have thus heard it stated by the wise preceptors who taught us that. And that is further explained. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastat vedo bhayam saha vinashena mrutyum tirtva sambhutyam amrutam ashmute. So here they have pretty made it clear, those who worship the unmanifested Prakriti and Hiranyagarbha together get over death through the worship of Hiranyagarbha and attain immortality through the worship of Prakriti. Now, this is a translation which has a sampradayic or a reference. But as I was taught Upanishads, I was told that Upanishads need to be understood with samanvaya and sadhana. So all acharyas are right, but they speak from a perspective. They speak from a focus. Now, if we are also into sadhana, then we are able to understand what the Upanishads are saying and what a particular acharya is saying. And then we understand the focus of that acharya and the perspective of that acharya or any teacher for that matter. So when it says that Vinashena Mrutyum Tirtva Sambhutyam Amrutam Ashnute. So clear cut, the thought comes here is that knowledge about that which is created and knowledge about that which need not be created. Now, in between, there is a spectrum, there is a range. And in that range, somewhere Prakriti, Hiranyagarbha would come in. But ultimately, it would refer to Brahman, which will which is always understood as something which is never created, something which is never destroyed. So, how do we make sense of all this? How do we understand all these interpretations and Upanishads? What is real? So, let us just think about one thing. When we say Sambhutim, that which is created, what all is created? So, when we are a student of meditation, when we study yoga, when we study dhyana, what are we told? First is sit, sthira sukham asanam. Maintain your posture, control your energy, bring it to one place, gain that stability, sthairya. And then comes the manomaya kosh, where we are told that handle your emotions, keep them stable. Then comes the layer of, first comes pranamaya. So sharira and prana, these are stabilized. Then comes mind. Then we are told to stabilize our thoughts. And then get into Anandamaya Kosh and beyond that. So, at all these levels, what are we exactly doing if we observe? Then we are silencing all that is happening, all that is created. So, there is a beautiful word which says spruhan, which says that which is created. Anything and everything that is being created needs to be brought back, controlled. And therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, the example of the tortoise is given. As the tortoise takes all his legs and brings in, that is the process of meditation. Prakshepana is another Sanskrit word which talks about sending outside. That is expression, that is creation. So, when we are creating something, what is happening is I look into what is created. I enjoy out of my creation. I enjoy all that is created. I feel sad when that creation ends and destruction happens. So, with all this, what is happening here is my total focus is going outside. As long as that is happening, it is good. I should understand what is happening. Now, some people say that, they try to shun their emotions. When they say that Shadripu, all these emotions are there. Anger, for example. Somebody will say, no, I'm not going to get angry since morning. Today I have decided I'm going to just, control myself. Now, this person, since morning, there are n number of occasions with the due habit that the person has, continuously starts feeling now I should be angry. Oh, this person said this. Oh, this person did like this. Oh, this person, all they have kept all the things in mess. They need to be perfect. They need to be great. So many things are happening. But because I have decided, I just keep quiet, keep quiet. No, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This is shunning. By the end of the day, there's a limit. There's a tipping point. And somebody does something and the person just blasts out and then will tell everything that has happened since morning, how I have ignored everything. And now it is beyond my point, and how everybody has to be correct, how everybody has to be perfect. This is not the right way of handling any emotion. Handling anger, it is said that understand what is happening within us, observe your emotions, and then question that emotion. If we don't question our emotion, the emotion will not talk to us. So if we are crying, we should ask ourselves why I am crying. If I'm feeling bad, I should ask myself why I'm feeling bad. That is talking with our own emotions, observing and talking with our emotions. The emotions will answer us. This and this is happening. Oh, is it? Am I missing somebody? It is bad. What would happen if the person was here? Then I would say, then I would talk with the person, I would speak with the person. Tatah Kim, what next? What would happen after that? No, I'll feel good. Okay, if I'm feeling good, then do you think that person is not there? Yes, physically that person is not there. But don't you understand? That person is traveling or not in town or is not in this world. Yes, I understand. But does that mean that person is not there? No, it is there. Then where is that person? It is everywhere. It's within me, it's outside. We are same. Then why not experience that I am with the person? So that oneness with that thing is something which has come. Now, what has happened here is I am switching my gears from the Annamaya course to Pranamaya to Manomaya to Vijnanamaya, and ultimately switching it to the gear of Anandamaya, where I say Chittapa is there, we are one. Beyond that, we say it is Brahman, I am one, it is with me. What has happened is I started speaking with my emotion. Same happens with anger, same happens with jealousy, same happens with sadness. This is the therapy that Vedanta teaches us. Vedanta teaches us to ask ourselves, probe into it, experience it, accept it, and then transcend it. Not telling us to reject everything. It is absolute acceptance with understanding the limits of those things. So, this is the path from avidya to vidya that I would say is in the Ishavasya Upanishad. So, it is not negating the world, but it is being with the world, understanding the limits of our experiences and moving forward. So it says that avidya as a domain of empirical science as to how is this universe, it everything that comes with measuring, experimenting and innovating. Whereas vidya is why this is what it is, what is beyond this, trying to find out what is the causation behind this. And then is there something which is uncaused cause? Is there any uncaused cause? Secondly, uh, what for is also an important question in the part of Vidya. We often tell our children, we often tell each other, ourselves, that I should be moral, I should have niti, I should be following the truth. But if the question is why niti, why morality, the answer is found in Upanishads, which says that morality is for the sake of nivrutti. When somebody is engaged in the Prakriti, morality is needed or dharma is needed for dharana, for sustenance. So it is for the sustenance of the Prakriti, and after sustaining the Prakriti, it is for the Nivrutti. Because we understand the limits of Prakriti and then we decide that now we are going to follow the path of Nivrutti, that is something beyond this. So, bringing in this slight line of differences, all discussion around Vidya and Avidya. So, I mean, there are certain references I would say where which of quantum mechanics, neuroscience, psychology. Not going into details, what I would say is that everybody over here uh, is trying to connect the modern science with the understanding of unified reality or Brahman as the single reality. And that way, it is interesting that now the science is also progressing towards finding it. But as we know that the methodology of science is slightly different from the methodology of Upanishads. We follow sources of knowledge, we follow the methodology. At the most, where we can reach is we reach towards an hypothesis, a valid hypothesis, probably, which is logically consistent and which seems appears to be right. And that could be that Brahman exists, or there it can exist a truth which is not created, which is beyond causation, space, and time. And then there the arguments will stop. Even if science decides to go at the most what it can do, or at the most it can reach towards an hypothesis. That is the scientific methodology that we follow. Similarly, in our day to day life, or even when we are doing our karma kanda or other actions, doing seva, following morality, what will happen is we will start becoming a good human being. We will do good karma, we will help others. Even then, the question remains is Tatah Kim, what next? What is the purpose of this? Why everything is needed? And there, this question comes in that if there is Brahman, where it is? If it is within me, if it is outside, it is everywhere, then how will I experience? And there comes the point of sadhana. And that is the real meaning of Vida, to know, is to know yourself. So I feel that from the spiritual lens, if we have to see, there are interesting ways of understanding where Shankaracharya says Vyavaharika Satya, Pratibhasik Satya, and Paramarthik Satya. So he says that Vyavaharik Satya is also to be understood, practiced. Pratibhasik Satya is all about the Yajna, home, deities, Ishta Devata, types of meditations. And but Paramarthik Satya is what? Is Brahma Satya. So when he talks about Paramarthik Satya, that is the one single truth which exists. Living on all these three levels and having an integration of all these three, having a common thread of understanding is what Ishavasya Upanishad is also saying, and which is called as Samanvaya. So there has to be no rejection of anything, but it is more of Samanvaya. And this Samanvaya is possible only when it is followed with sadhana. So even today morning, my father called me and he said, what are you doing? I said, I have to talk on this subject. So he said, that's okay. But are you still practicing your sadhana? Are you meditating every day? Are you doing these things? Otherwise, you will go astray. Because that will create an ego, that will create an identity of a person who knows something and is able to share something. Now, that itself is an identity. So, I would say to end everything, Upanishads say that there has to be an integration in our different identities. But ultimately, this identity, which is connected to the ego, which is connected to the feeling of aham, I, this is instantiation from the general of the particular, which we are creating at different levels in different experiences, needs to be dissolved. Then people say, what is fun if everything is dissolved? Why should we really want this? I don't want this. There are so many students and so many people I meet, they say, I don't want moksha. I mean, it's so boring. Nothing happens there. As I read the descriptions of moksha, there is no fun in that. I'm happy to be born again and again and enjoy this world. So, what is the answer to this? Enjoy. As long as the person is taking interest and feeling good about it let it continue. But there will be a point, sometimes, we never know when, that playing this game again and again, sometimes the person may feel enough of it. Tatah kim, what next? And their Upanishads come in light. And then they say that, okay, now if you want to get into college, then this and this has to be done. But if I'm enjoying my school life, I cannot keep enjoying it. After a certain age, I need to move out, or the school will throw me out. But if some people feel that, no, this is fun, why go to college? Why do my PhD? Why do these things? No, this is fun. It is fun as long as one is enjoying. So the simple parameter that Upanishads give us is Sukha and Dukkha. As long as we are into creativity, as long as we are bound by creation, Sukha and Dukkha is going to be there. As long as we like the taste of Sukha and Dukkha equally, let us play the game. But if we feel that I also need some peace, I also need some stability, I need to feel complete from within. I don't have to feel that I need something, this restlessness, this need, I don't want it, then that is a point where Upanishads come in and they say that one has to understand um, and pursue Atmavidya. I think with this point, I'll stop today and I'll stop sharing. I'm open for questions if we have time.
Kalika, I enjoyed it very much, your presentation.
Thank you.
To explain this topic is not easy, but you were able to explain the what do you call presumptive contradiction, misunderstanding that come about when you read those shlokas and just read the translation without the clear-cut explanation that you beautifully did becomes very confusing to most people. So I'm glad you did it step by step. I think people have to listen to you a few more times to understand it more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste, Kalika ji.
Namaste,
This is
Anand ji. How are you?
Anand Javle. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Good to see you. Yeah.
I was just wondering if you would agree with this way of thinking, perhaps is the same as what you said, which is that Brahman is described as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. And another aspect of Brahman is Maya.
Yes.
So to understand Brahman fully,
Huh.
if one wanted that as an objective, you would have to understand all aspects of it, including
Yes.
Maya. Right? So
Yes.
that's point number one.
Yes.
Number two, Maya is the universe projecting power of Brahman.
Yes.
So in a sense, Maya is like a movie projector that projects movie on a screen. And what happens is that the movie called the universe starts playing and the screen is hidden simultaneously, right? So a universe is projected and Brahman is hidden. That is the power of Maya. It is the objective of science to understand Maya, because that's what we are after when we talk
Yes.
about whether it's Newton or Einstein or quantum mechanics or anything, the
Yes.
laws of that govern this universe. If we
Yes.
understood them, which science believes one day they are going to understand them, that would be trying to understand Maya. And
Yes.
that is what is being called avidya.
Yes.
Avidya is understanding Maya, which is where most of us have spent most of our life. So we could say that our life has been spent in avidya.
Yes.
And then it is very easy to show that the way Brahman has been described by Advaita Vedanta, like the Taittiriya Upanishad, that definition of Brahman can never be proved by science. It is a definition that by definition is impossible to be proved by the usual scientific method.
Yeah.
So this
There's a
business,
contradiction. Logical contradiction will happen if you try proving that. The method that we follow in scientific methodology, as you very rightly said, that will become self-contradictory if we start proving Brahman through that methodology.
see what happens is that science is, the proof is empirical in science,
Yeah.
right? You have to have data. So suppose I want to show that, let's say that what is the effect of ambient temperature on humans, right? You have to change that ambient temperature in order to figure out what the effect is, right? If
Yeah.
Brahman can never be changed, what is the definition of Brahman? Brahman is homogeneous, it is everywhere, right? It's
Yeah.
everywhere, and it will never change.
Yeah.
Something that is so defined that can never be changed, its effect can never be understood by the standard method called, science.
Yeah.
So even the very existence of Brahman cannot be determined by a scientific method, by avidya. Therefore, we need vidya,
Yeah.
something different, right? Other
Yes.
than science, whatever that is, whether that is meditation, I have not very good understanding of what those methods might be, and have never met anybody who has actually understood Brahman. So I'm not sure what those methods are, but it's obvious that the scientific method is not going to work, unfortunately.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So maybe we can think of it in a simple fashion like this, that avidya is understanding, Maya, and
Mm.
vidya is understanding satyam, jnanam, anantam.
Mm.
And that's the difference. And those two, and you have to know both,
Both.
because Brahman all these are aspects of Brahman,
Yeah. So,
right?
yes, I agree with what you say, and very nicely put. I would just add a small point to this is along with Shankaracharya, what is very interesting is Kashmiri Shaivism. And they talk about Shiva and Shakti. So for them, Shiva, everything is Shiva. And what is Shakti? Shakti is Shiva's expression. Now, one has to understand both Shiva and Shakti together. So even here, when they talk about Vidya and Avidya both to be understood,
Right.
this is a very key point that Ishavasya Upanishad is making. And therefore, I said that it is not rejecting, it is accepting. It is
Right.
accepting Shakti, it is accepting Shiva. Together is the reality. This is, I feel, is the contribution of Ishavasya Upanishad. Of course, other shlokas where they now see this shloka. Tadejati tannejati. Tad dure taduvantike. Tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bhayatha. It says it goes out, it comes in. It is within me, it is outside me. It is to my left, it is to my right. It is up, it is down. So what is it? It acts, it's also still. So, what is Brahman? Brahman is, people normally assume that it is something which is always stable, constant, unmoving, unchanging, silent, static. It's not that. Ishavasya Upanishad itself is saying, Tadejati Tannejati, it goes, it comes in. So it has all these elements in it. It decided it has the potential of expression. When it doesn't decide, it just stays within it. Rather, both the aspects are continuously existing, and therefore Maya, Shakti, this is also Ananta, and Brahman is also Ananta. Now, where does this whole realm of spirituality begin? It begins within me. When I am just thinking about myself as Shakti or as a part of something or limited between the boundaries, then this whole process of knowledge and things come in. And therefore, because I am considering myself to be limited, small, dependent on sukha dukha, only then this requirement of going beyond this comes in. The moment I realize that I am not what I was thinking, then I am just part of that reality, which can be vibrant, which can have this spandana, which can have this vibrations. It's like a sea, as they describe. I have waves, I am sea. I can be stable, I can be active. The problem comes in when I am choosing only one. That is Ajnana. That is Ghor Andhakar. So this is very beautiful Upanishad. I feel that it is bringing in the importance of both the elements. Otherwise, sometimes people tend to ignore one aspect and they stick to the other aspect, and then they lose out on important part of experiencing and life, I feel. Yeah.
Okay. I kind of missed, I don't want to take too much time. I missed that. Hopefully it is not an interventionist God that you are suggesting there. But
No, no, no,
okay.
no. God and Ishwar are also Kalpana. From this perspective, if you see, then when Shankaracharya said that Vidya is Upasana, then that is about the, again, a level earlier to Atmadnyan, where you are still talking about higher reality, not the reality that we are experiencing. So reality, higher reality, and ultimate reality. So Vyavaharik Satya, Pratibhasik Satya, and Paramarthik Satya. So then, actually, not so much of exercise needs to be done. I would just like to share this thing if somebody is really interested into meditation. is one simple point is, if any one of you is interested into meditation and if you feel that I need to experience this, is it possible or is my life gone and now nothing is remaining? Then as my teacher taught me, it is just simple, is when you close your eyes, just try to feel where you feel your existence. If you feel that that is a point while we meditate, from where directions start, from where is left, from where is right, from where is front, from where is back, up and down. So, where do I feel my existence? So, while meditating, if I can experience that point, it is not located somewhere here in my body or brain, but that is a state of awareness which we called as present tense. Because from there, time and space begins. So, from where time and space begins, if we can go to that origin, we can experience what I would say, a point of Vartaman Kal or the present tense. Now, that can be a point which is between two thoughts, from where one thought is created and another thought is yet to come. There is a point in between. Sukshma, very subtle, very small. If we can look, understand, and experience that, and how do we do all this? How do we experience this? It is stop doing everything that whatever we are doing. So, the initial stage of meditation is just observing. From outside, we come inside, but inside, there is a whole new world and it is more turmoil. So, then I stop doing different things. Then, what are different things? Memories will come and go. Sadness, and there will be clouds of sadness and happiness. So many things would happen. So, sometime I will spend in observation. But after that, I stop reacting to that. The moment I stop reacting to my own creation, I go back to myself. This is the key that I was told by my teacher, my father. This is how meditation is to be looked at. And then probably, yes, it all depends on how we take it further.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments, guys?
Yeah,
Namaste, Namaste, Dr. Kalika.
namaste.
One question I have is I hear this conflicting views. One, you mentioned that you have to do a meditation, you have to do your sadhana so that your ego don't go astray. But another, I don't know, whether it's Neo Advaita or something or somewhere where they profess that you don't have to sit down, you don't have to do meditation, you just have to be witness all the time and just remain as a witness. Besides that, you don't have to do. So where do you where the Upanishads
Yeah.
fall? And
This is one and the same. This is one and the same. When somebody says that meditate, uh, okay, meditate. Then what do you do in meditation? Get into the witness mode.
Mhm.
So that is when I make a concentrated effort where I sit down and I try to go to my core, and then from there I decide that now I'm going to witness my thoughts, emotions, and everything. So in Sanskrit there is a beautiful word which is also used in Marathi, which is called tatastha. Tata is the bank of the river. So when we are watching when we want to have a grasp of what the river is, if I get into the river and start swimming, I will not get the exact idea of how the river looks and what is the flow and energy of the river. So I have to come and stand on the bank and watch the river when the water is flowing from one direction to the other. So I stop participating. The moment I stop participating, the moment I stop reacting, I am what I am just. That is called as witness. That is called as tatastha. So when somebody says you don't need to meditate, that is fine. I mean, if you can just be in your life and start observing things from a witness point, that itself is a big achievement.
Mhm.
If we start witnessing our relationships, we'll be the happiest person in our life rather than participating in our roles and getting the what you say, the back effect of those participations, that takes out all the energy from our life, isn't it? The moment we come into the witness mode and see that, okay, this is my role as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter, as a teacher, then I don't take the load of that, because I know that I'm not dependent on this load. So I'm in the witness mode. So that is called karma yoga. That is called as nishkama karma, as it is explained in Bhagavad Gita. So when they say you follow the karma yoga, that is also coming into witness mode. Karmannevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. The moment I am not attached to the results, I come in the witness mode. So whichever path, if you are climbing a big mountain, different people will climb from different sides. And while climbing, different people will see differently how the peak looks and how the village down looks. So they will describe it accordingly. But what is the point? Point is I am going above the level from where I was earlier. So it's just that. So today, if I feel I am more, contraction is ignorance. This is another way of explaining. Contraction is ignorance. Contraction is dukkha. Contraction is sorrow. Contraction comes when I consider myself different from others. Contraction is when I isolate my existence. Then what is expansion is when I loosen it. I expand my existence and awareness to my spouse, and then to my kids, and then to my family, then to my society, culture, civilization, universe. And then I feel, oh, my existence is also beyond that. When I look into the sky and see that I am just a dot, part of a universe, but there are so many universes out, and who am I? Then I am not something small, but I am just that with it. So this is all game of expansion and contraction, which Kashmiri Shaivism talks about spandana, kampana, or Advaita Vedanta talks about Maya, Brahman. So nobody is talking contradictory. It is just we have to understand that it's just, as Modi ji says, becoming Atmanirbhar. Recently, 2 days back, again, he said we have to become Atmanirbhar. So spiritually also becoming Atmanirbhar is what? I am self-sufficient. I don't need anything. And that is nothing else but Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam. And I am complete, this feeling of completeness. So it is not contradictory.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to share an experience that my wife Yvonne and I had for a number of years in the 70s primarily. It was a system of personal development called reevaluation counseling. And it was based on the premise that we are often held in, we are hemmed in by emotions that are within us that we often are not even aware of. They stem from early experiences or whatever. They're buried in there. But the mere fact that we aren't aware of them doesn't mean that they don't have great power. They do. They influence the way we are from day to day, how we react to other people and so on. So a step towards freedom is getting rid of those bound emotions. And how do you do that? Uh, and the recommendation of reevaluation counseling was to find ways of expressing those emotions in a physical way.
Mhm.
If you are angry, you work with somebody who will kind of support you in your efforts. If you are angry, well, they even provided you with soft bats that you could swing around and strike things and get your whole body engaged in expressing that anger. And if you express it sufficiently, what you experience is that it fades away. Away. If if you are grieving over a loss, you cry. You find somebody to hug. All those physical kinds of things allow the emotions to leave your inside. And once they leave your inside, you are free to go onwards.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So this is catharsis, as we say. So whatever emotions we have, if they are expressed, we feel light, we feel better, because we are holding on to it. So if you remember in one of the in Kathopanishad, at the end of it, it says that Hrudaya Granthi, all those knots in the hearts needs to be released. So this way we can release our knots that we have tied. This is emotional. Intellectually also we have too many knots. So even those also need to be released. So this is absolute a good way, and this is also part of therapy as you suggested, and it works well. Only the thing, a small point which comes in here is, um, like even Osho said that experience as much as you can, fulfill all your desires. This is another way of telling, and one day you will be tired of all that, and then you will think about something else. Now this also has different angles to it. Okay, the thing is, basic thing is, emotions are regenerative. Emotions can be created again and again, they recur. So whatever is there within me, I will release that. But I also need to take care that next time I don't again get them into me. And there, this thought of witness mode or tatastha comes in, as to understand that if somebody is annoying me and I'm feeling angry, then is that the person or is it the behavior of the person? And who is getting angry? Is my identity as a friend, as a wife, as a daughter, and then who I am. So this identity crisis that we often get into has to be viewed from a witness perspective. And then we are sorted with our roles. And then we know how much to take. If it is, it doesn't start. I mean, eventually we stop taking it to the core because we are complete in our core, and then we just deal it on the outer level. I feel that is freedom. So, of course, what you said is very necessary, and me also being a psychologist, we also I mean use this for catharsis. We want people to vent out, express, come out of it. But the point is, there has to be still a stronger method where it will not recur, and all this recurs is based on my reaction pattern. So how I react to the environment and the situation and the people around, and my reaction pattern is depending on my idea of reality, idea of truth, idea of who I am. And therefore I feel that any kind of psychotherapy or any kind of therapies that we are having, if it has a philosophy, and this has been my experience, past 25 years being into counseling, I have seen that where this therapy stop, from there Vedantic philosophy begins. So if somebody really is aware about who I am, what is my real identity, truth, then that expression is totally changed. That recurring of dukkha and emotions and misunderstandings, misconceptions can be avoided at that point. And this syncs with the earlier thought that I mentioned is, meditation is not stopping the thoughts that I have already created. That is not possible. Once created, it is out. Like a bullet, which is shot, it is already out, it's going to have its effect. But control has to be before I shoot the bullet, before I shoot my thought. And that is all about meditation, as to how I can reach that point. And that is called as tatastha witness, coming back to that point.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I had an experience that illustrates that I think exactly. When I started meditating, I had all kinds of thoughts, and they were very specific scientific thoughts. And I would try to remember them because they were useful. So I took up the practice of having a journal by my side. When the thoughts came, I wrote them down. Once they were written, they were gone from my mind. Then I came back to my journal and I did many of the experiments that had come to me in my attempts to meditate. They were perfectly good ideas, but I got released from the intensity and the repetition of idea generation by expressing those ideas, by writing them down. And once they were expressed, then they were not a problem anymore.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. That's so beautiful, and that is called pratibha. So Rutam Bharat Tatra Pradnya. So in Patanjali says that when you are into meditation, you are into yoga, your Rutam Bhara, that is your Pratibha, Pradnya, everything becomes full, complete, and beautiful ideas and thoughts and knowledge just starts overflowing. So that is a beautiful. I think most of the scientists who are working like you, they have experienced this. That when we are into this state of absolute calmness, then I think these creations happen. But of course, Patanjali again guards us against this also, because he says then one might get entangled into this. So yeah,
It helps to have a teacher.
he,